what's up you guys, Curious Owl here, and today I will be going over my January 2023 TBR. It is a brand new year, which means there is a lot of things going on for a lot of different groups. And it's the beginning of the year, which for a lot of people feels like a fresh start. And it definitely feels that way for me, especially because I don't have to play the Wheel of D20 this month because I completed the Wheel of D20 reads for December. So I have a whole month away from the Wheel of D20, and I'm super, super excited for that because I have a lot of books that I would like to get to. I may have overdone it in terms of my TBR, especially for Battle of the Bookish. I am hoping to get through all of these, but I don't know if I'm going to. So I guess let's just get started. So before I get started with my Battle of the Bookish TBR for our next round, which is going to be over the course of January in its entirety, I want to go over a few things in terms of book clubs and things that I'm a part of. The first of which being a read-along that I am hosting starting in the month of January, where I am going to be going through N.K. Jemisin's catalog of books, which the first book we are starting off this read-along with is the first book in the Broken Earth trilogy, The Fifth Season. Now, this is a very high adult fantasy. This is involving a very high fantasy world. It's a bit chunky, but I still think this would be much easier to get through. And my particular copy also has a ton of stuff at the back that is not needed. So the actual book itself, without appendix or anything else relating to that, is 450 pages. So not too bad for a fantasy, but I do think that at least the second and third books are a little bit longer, but pretty manageable. Just hopefully I can get the time to read this for my own group and then have the live show at the beginning of February. Next is the Royally Booked Book Club pick that my friend Princess at Castle Library is hosting. The book we are reading is called The Goblin Emperor or Empire, one of the two. This is going to be a bi-monthly book club, so this is going to be for both January and February's book. I would like to try to read this in January, but if not, that's fine. I could always push it off to February if I need to. I just don't know really anything about this, but most of what Princess likes to pick is things like dark academia based things, and if it has fantasy, that's really cool. It's kind of like a little bonus. So I don't really know much about this other than it's possibly playing on those two things. Next, I will be joining in on the Catch Up Book Club because of the fact that they're starting with a brand new world now with the beginning of 2023, and they're going through the law world, something like that. It's a Joe Abercrombie world, and the first book is called The Blade Itself. So I would like to, again, to try to read this one in the month, but if not, it's fine. I would just like to try to be a part of the book club if I can, but it's kind of like hit or miss. And finally, for Brandy at Books with Brandy Shanae's membership book club, we are reading The Art of Prophecy by Wesley Chu, I believe. I don't really know anything about this. This is another fantasy. I would like to try to read this one again, but really, like I said, The Fifth Season is my #1 priority out of these book club books just because it's for my personal book club. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into my Battle of the Bookish TBR because that is the thing I am the most excited for because I don't really have anything else other than book club books to read this month, which is really exciting. So if you did not watch the announcement video for the next round of Battle of the Bookish, I will leave it in the description as well as my recommendations for books that I think would work best for the different prompts that we have for the Battle of the Bookish prompts. But I'm very excited because I picked a pretty eclectic group of books. I at first wanted to try to keep it to the theme of like mystery thrillers because our theme for this round is literary detectives. But then I quickly realized that I don't need to do that, and I have way more books I'm interested in that do not fit that. So I just grabbed a ton of things that I thought were gonna work, that I was interested in, that continue stuff that I had been meaning to finish, stuff like that. First, we have reread a book, and for this, I'm gonna reread The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. I really like this book a lot, and I'd like to reread it for the first time in several years, and I remember just enjoying it, and I wanna see if I can remember the twist and whether I can see it coming a second time after some years have passed. Next is a TBR veteran, which for this I'm going to pick up The Guest List by Lucy Foley, another mystery that I thought would be really fun, especially since it's really short and it has been on my shelves for a long time. I want to say at least a year, so I think that this would be perfect. Next, for Read a Book, I'm going to put my book club book on there, The Fifth Season, just because I need to have something for it, and I would like to try to be able to read this earlier in the month if I can, especially if this ends up becoming the only book I read in January. So that way, at the very least, I can know for certain I at least read my book club. Next is a book with pictures. And so for that, I decided to pick up Descender Volume 5 by Jeff Lemire and Dustin Nguyen. I would like to be able to finish this graphic novel series because I have this one and then one other volume before I finish off Descender and then can get started with the sequel series, which is called Ascender. Next is an LGBTQ book, which for that, I finally decided I'm going to pick up Heartstopper Volume 1 by Alice Oseman. Another graphic novel that'll be super quick for me to fly through, and I've been meaning to read this series for a while, so why not get started with it in this round? And next, we're going to go through the team prompts that I have. I am the leader of Team Harry Dresden, so I decided on a couple different things that I think would work really well. And so the first one is a book that has a magic system, which is for Kaboom Magic. Now, I think, if I'm not mistaken, that the Goblin Empire or Emperor has magic involved in it. So we're going to go with that, and hopefully I can get through that one in the time of the month. Next is a middle grade for the prompt Young Magician. So for this, I decided to go with Arusha and the City of Gold by Roshani Chokshi, another series I've been meaning to finish. It's a cute middle grade. It'll fly by real quick, and I need to finish this series because I've been meaning to for probably now at least a year. Next is to read a graphic novel, which is for the prompt of The Winter's Night Mantle, something like that. And for this, I did decide on Descender Volume 6, the final volume in the Descender series by Jeff Lemire and Dustin Nguyen. Next, we have the Blue VW Beetle, which is to read a book that involves travel. And for this, I decided to pick up one of the anticipated reads I had wanted to read in 2022, but didn't get a chance to. And that is All My Rage by Sabaa Tahir. This is a book that does involve, at least in one sense, a set of people who have to leave Pakistan to go to the US. And finally, we have Stormfront, which is to read the first book in a series. And I've been putting this off, but my sister officially started it, and I would like to be able to read it with her to some extent. It's House of Earth and Blood, the first book in the Crescent City series. This is going to be probably my problem child because she's thick and she's slow, apparently, in terms of the first few hundred pages. So we'll see. We'll see if Sarah can hold up to her Court of Thorns and Roses life, because I have not heard good things about this one compared to that. But we shall see. If the smut's good, maybe it'll be all right. But with that being said, those are all the books that I am reading this month in January. I try to keep this short because we're not doing the Wheel of D20, for instance, this month, and so it made it a lot easier for me to just go through all of these super quick. So if you have any recommendations for books for the Battle of the Bookish that you would like to, share with other people, that would be amazing. I am really excited to at least get my book club started with the 5th season because I've been wanting to do that for months. So if you want to know more information about that, go check out the announcement for the N.K. Jemisin read-along. And yeah, I'm just super excited about all these books, honestly. I think I picked a pretty awesome eclectic stack. So thank you guys so much for joining me in this video. If you guys did enjoy it, please do give it a big thumbs up. And if you haven't already and you'd like to be and would like to see more content like this, go ahead and hit that button down below and subscribe to become an owlette in our flock. And I will see all of you guys in my next video. Bye, guys!